Coming up is our feature match analysis of Buildcon taking on Zesco United. That's our feature match for tonight. Let's have a look at the two selections that were made by the two coaches. That's Tenan Chembo and Arina Golemo. Now, both teams actually wanted to probably get wins for Zesco United. Imperative as the team that are defending champions went for a 4-2-3-1 with Kondwani Mtonga at shirt number 18 and Mishak Chala shirt number 13 playing those two defensive positions. Enox Abumkama playing in the hole. Lazarus Kambole shirt number 7 leading the line. Winston Kalengo returned on the left wing, and of course Lamek Banda playing on the right-hand side of attack. And for Buildcon, Coach Arena went 4-1-4-1 with Rahim Osmanu leading the line. But look at that midfield four. You've got Moses wearing shirt number 14. You've got Jean-Marc Makwata wearing shirt number 30, number 15, Given Singluma, and of course, captain for the day, Chisamba Lungo. Those were the two selections by the two coaches. Helping me with tonight's presentation is Muhammad Fati and Vespa Janza. Let me start off with you, Muhammad. 4-1-4-1 for Buildcon, looking for a win. It hasn't been easy yet. The last time we spoke, we thought Coach Arena needed a bit of help to get the victories. What do you think of his approach against a Zesco United side that play with two defensive midfielders?
I think he got very good select of players, but I think they didn't put too much pressure on Zesco, and also the team is not yet shaped up in attack as a compact attack and defense. Some also role for Chisamba Lungu, the captain. For me, he is very good player, very tactical player. He always play, if you give him a free role in the midfield and give him a cover, I think the team will look more dangerous than he put him in a zone and tied him. It doesn't help the team. The team is conceding 4 goals in 2 games and score 1 goal from set pieces. So this is a sign like the coach he need help. He has to review his approaching plan for the game and the tactic plan, because now they didn't score a goal. Let's say they didn't finish the attack and score a goal, and also they didn't close very well in the defense line. There is too many gaps between the two center backs. So I think he didn't get it right this time, and but wish him all the best in the next game. All right,
so it ended of course in favor of Zesco United. Let's begin to dissect Zesco United. Let's have a look at their play out attack, shall we? That's Team Yaziko registering their first victory. Of course, the goals came in plenty. 3-1 it finished. Let's just look at Zesco United play out attack. So this is what was happening. Now typical Catanaccio by Buildcon. They would actually make 2 banks of 4, but you'd have the shirt number 5, Dimon Chava there, picking up Enox Abumkama between the lines, and you've got of course Winston Kalengo being picked up, the number 10 there, and of course Lawrence Chungu picking up Lamek Banda there. But most importantly, you are now looking at the positioning of Kondwani Mtonga, who's being picked up by the player playing central right position. That's Jean-Marc Makwata, the Kenyan international. So right there, all the players in the Buildcon half are picked up and they are marked. And the ones that are free are the backline. Owino Diambo, Faxon Kapumbo, Marcel Kalonda, Mseko, and of course you've got now Rahim Osman just to deal with right there. For Zesco, that proved to be very problematic, getting those players in advanced positions into the game, but we'll quickly see that they were trying to bring Lamek Banda into the game a lot by pinging in those long surging passes, Vespa.
Yeah, congratulations to Zesco. I think for the first time I saw the Zesco team coming even from behind and try to correct some mistakes which they made from the beginning. And looking at the way they were trying to attack, that you could see that they were trying. I think the coach has introduced a system of maybe trying to interchange passes to one another, which at least I think it has changed the team from the way they were trying to put the balls up front, and which was difficult for their strikers maybe to hold on to the ball. But if you look at the way they played, yes, they had the mistakes which maybe costed them in the where they lost it, and they allowed the Buildcon to score an early goal. But their attack, I think, if it continues like that, maybe it will take them somewhere.
Yeah, perhaps a case of scandalous marking on the part of Zesco United, looking at how they fell behind in that game. But let's just have a look at the advanced play out for Zesco United when they finally got into the Buildcon half and what they were able to do. Now, Coach Fati, you quickly notice this, that Buildcon is centrally compact, so it's very busy in the central areas. But look at Winston Kalengo on the left-hand side of your screen wearing shirt number 10. He's always going to make that run. He will not give you with it because he's right-footed and he's playing on the left. So their trump card now, Zesco United, is a shirt number 20, Lamek, who's been given that space. And being left in that space, Lawrence Chungu has to think, okay, I need to keep an eye on him, but most importantly, he also needs to see the movement of the shirt number 24, Sabumkama. But generally, that's what Zesco United had to deal with. And they were trying to get Lamek Banda into play and basically make him the focal point of the attack construction. What do you make of the effectiveness of that tactic by Tenan Chembo and these boys?
No, I think the players, they got experience. They play too many years together, almost 3 years together, so they understand this tactic very well. And they didn't change much from the tactic, but I think Tennant, I see too many changes he make, and he changed the game. In fact, he make one sub first half. I encourage him. I salute him for this change, because the player, the one he put Zakura, he changed the game and even score a goal.
Okay, I've got a multi-million-dollar question right there, Coach Fati. Let's just have a look at the forward passing pattern for Zesco United in that first half and what they were able to do in terms of stringing up passes and getting high up the pitch. So let's just have a look at their passing pattern in the first half. That's Zesco United. Now, look at there, the origins of the pass is actually showing most of the passes going long into that area where Lamek Banda is operating on the right-hand side of the pitch. But generally, if you look at in the central area of midfield, very little. And if you're Enoch Sabumkama, I'm sure you're thinking, so what did I do? The ball was going to Lamek and not to where I was. So how do you get involved in the game if you're a number 10, like Enoch Sabumkama is? Do you rush in the box? Do you come short to collect? Which one?
No, I think his idea is not looking at the top man. I think his idea, he knows the weakness of Buildcon. Buildcon, when you stretch the defense line, there is no backup there is no good connection between the defensive midfield for Buildcon and the back four. So when you stretch the back four, it was easy for any team to break Buildcon from the right or the left, or even he can drop the ball to the midfield. The one is coming from behind. There is a gap. He can even break between the two center back of Buildcon because there is a big space.
So tactically, how do you play with both of them in mind? Because we actually saw Enoch Sabumkama being called to the touchline and being told to get more involved in the game. And that's the question that I would like you people to deal with. So what does Enoch Sabumkama do? Run into the box, because the attacking strategy for Zesco United is to go to the right and get Lamek Banda, and they're using long balls to get him there. And the central areas, in any case, are very congested. So if you're Sabumkama, how do you play?
I think you're supposed to put him, give him the zone, but also when he reached to the final third, his idea is to reach to the final third for the opponent in very short period. Then after this, he give free roll to the player. So sometimes it works, sometimes very dangerous, because if the opponent, they have the ball, there is a gap also behind in the midfield for Zesco. Any other team can use it and score goal.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. Zikuri, yes, comes on, gets that equalizer, but Vespa, the question is that number 10 row, there was no service there, as illustrated by the passing map. Zesco were not getting to the zone between the lines where Sabumkama is playing. So, if you are Sabumkama, what do? Come short to collect, and if you come short in any way, Odiambo, Chaila, they'll ping a long pass into Lamek Banda. So, how do you play? Just get in the box? What?
Yeah, but I think it can also have an advantage for him, Zita, to maybe getting the balls near the box, which is easier for him maybe to turn, even to shoot on on the goal. Because if you look at the Zesco midfielders, they are not midfielders that you can also try as a striker to come and receive from the midfield. Yes, they have the powers. You could see the way they attack. Sometimes they attack in a group, which sometimes if they lose the ball, sometimes it's easy for them to correct it and maybe try to move forward. But I think for me, it's easy for him to receive it from the box, which is near to the
so
box.
just run into the box. Just
run into the box, but of course, yes, you should have support. Because if you saw the way Zesco were coming, for the first time, yes, I saw they were attacking with a little bit of speed, trying to change the speed when they have the ball. At least you could see try to interchange passes to each other, at least which made them at least have even the confidence of winning that game.
Anyway, we are coming back to that one. Not quite done. Because, of course, Tenan Chembo actually substitutes Enoch Sabumkama and brings in Zikiru, who actually takes up the center forward role, maintains the formation, but brings Lazarus Kambole, who was playing top man, into the number 10 role, which, of course, Sabumkama was playing previously. Let's just have a look at Buildcon in terms of their transition attack. So they were the home team in this game. And of course, there was something very pretty about what they were able to do in their transition attack. And this is what they would actually do, because they would actually choke Zesco United. They would get the ball into Lamek. Lamek would have a lot of players to deal with and force a turnover. But here's what would happen on average. Their defensive midfielder, Chafa there, gets the ball. He either picks up Moses on the right wing or Sambalung in the left. And right there you've got Jean-Marc Makwata making that run into that half space on the right-hand side, and Given Singuluma running into that the half space on the left-hand side. And you've got their center forward there, Rahim Osman, actually just figuring. Now, right here, the biggest concern was the speed at which Jean-Marc Makwata and Given Singuluma were actually getting in there to actually support the top man. That's the number 19, Rahim Osman. Again, the speed of that attack, and the two players are not youngsters anymore. So the shift to run from the center circle into the box and back to form the line when there's a breakdown in play, not quite easy.
You see, when they reach the final third, they're still passing in front of the defense of the opposition. They're not changing position. Even Rahim he's a top man, but also it's very difficult for Rahim to change his position like Jesse Weri. Sometimes they change his position with the attacking midfield. Sangaluma was very good at TB Mazembe in this movement. In Buildcon is not doing it. So this is why I am not blaming Sangaluma. Sangaluma is very experienced player. Even Chisambalongo is very experienced player. But for me, Rahim is a good player. He's a good striker. But to reach to that level of what I can say, Premium League level or continental level for you as a striker to score goal or to make your team also, if you don't score a goal, you make your team score more than one goal. You have to come out from your zone and you change your position with the midfield player, okay? Then this is how you break the defense of Zesco. But if you keep passing in front of the opposition, it will be very difficult because this is experienced team. They know how to balance themselves in the zone. If the ball move from the right to the center to the left, they know how to balance themselves in the zone very well.
No, I'm just thinking for Buildcon, they're probably wanting to guard against the situation where they're leaving spaces. And you were talking earlier about Chisambalungu being given a free roll. And I'm just thinking, if you do not want to break the lines, you go with the formation 4-4, then this 1-1. How do you play with them? You're looking at Singuluma, who's a potent number 10. He will strike the ball, second ball, very deadly, win the ball for you. But again, you also want to bring in a conversation of giving Chisambalungu a free roll. The question is where and who covers for him? That transitional
That's
cap.
the idea for when you give Chisambalungu is a very skillful player. So when you have a skillful player like this, is like Renford Calabar, sometimes he leave his position and he break with the ball, and sometimes he go to the left a little bit. So who's going to cover him? Somebody must cover him, but he's the one he can take you very fast to the final third and make the damage, because he took two players with him. It means immediately he took two players with him. It means there is a gap already in the defense of the opposition. Now to play down the striker, he can come from behind. The second striker comes from behind. Okay, so that is a combination. The one you have to look at it, because for me, if Sangaluma was playing, take the position for Rahim, I think the story to be different, because Sangaluma is very good. He knows how to accommodate himself between the two center back. When he doesn't receive the ball, he knows how to pull himself to the midfield and make a turn again. So you don't see him. You see him again in the box, receiving the ball and score a goal. That's how Sangaluma plays. That is the beauty of Sangaluma, scoring goals. But when you tied him, he's not playing as a top man in the box, and you make him come from the midfield. It doesn't suit him.
It doesn't suit him. Probably hard work. Let's talk about the evidence of their attacking prowess. Let's begin to dissect the Buildcon attacking pattern. Let's look at Buildcon in attack and begin to further look at the pattern. So here's what was happening when they get the ball, Buildcon. Now, this was very clever, and I'm sure Coach Arena will be happy about this. Once they move up and they were defending with the semi-high line, you get Adama Benban getting on the ball, Muntali, Demon Chava, of course Chungu as well. Immediately they put it into the midfield line. That is the midfield four. You'd have Chisambalungu on the ball, as illustrated on the screen. But immediately they would create a 2v1 against the two defensive midfielders of Zesco United. So you've got Singuluma and Chisambalungu versus Meshek Chaila. And you've got Jean-Marc Makwata and Moses against Kondo and Mtonga. And look at the movement of Raheem Sterling now. He's trying to peel in the channels to see where he can get the damage. Vespa. Which was pretty neat, in my opinion. It was good because they were attacking right on the nerve center, and that distance, touchline to touchline, for the two defensive midfielders to manage that space. Tough job.
Yeah, but tough job, Zite, which at least helped the team. Like if you saw the way they started the game. I think they started it with a lot of discipline, even keeping their lines. But suddenly when they scored, I think I don't know whether they were trying to think of how to make their budgets, because they've been losing and they lost their lines, which allowed the other team to take advantage of them, But if you saw the way they were trying to attack, trying to enter into Zesco, using the wing And you know Sambalungu, most of the Zambian players now, yes, they know him. He's a good dribbler, but most of the times they know him when he has the ball. Yes, of course, he wants to dribble. That's when he will try to pass. But there are times whereby you have the ball, maybe you play maybe 2 touches and pass. But he had more times of holding on to the ball and allowing maybe Zesco to even close in and lose the ball.
Exactly. But let's look at that slide again and just discuss further Buildcon in attack and why that was happening. And if you see right there, Fatih, you see that they are attacking and they're moving in a straight line. And the only forward option is Raheem Sterling, who's got 4 players to deal with in session.
Let's combine everything together. This is, look at 4, 11 and 15. Okay. When he passed the ball, he tried to follow, to give a cover to 11 and 15. Is it?
Yes.
Okay. 19, he tried to move in. That's now when you have a breakdown. Jeseweri, he break the line and nobody stop him. You understand? So the triangle is not, you see, it's already 2 lines. When you make triangle in the attack, it has to combine 3 lines. Like this, when you lose the ball, the second one he try to stop. If you pass the second one, the third one he has to stop. But now this is 2. If you lose the ball, I've already break 2 players.
So right
then
there,
I have 1-on-1. It's easy for me. If I go to strike, I dribble him. Then the road is open for me. This is what happened when Jeseweri scored the goal.
yeah, perhaps because they are defending like
So
that.
when you are attacking, you have to think also, what if I lose the ball? How
What happened?
what damage it can be done from the opposition to me if I lose the ball in that situation.
So in that situation, we now bring in Raheem Osman under the microscope. It's about basically his movement, and he's leading the line on his own. And the speed at which Jean-Marc Makwata and Singuluma are trying to join the attack is not working for Buildcon, clearly. And here is why. Let me show you something, gentlemen. Let's look at Buildcon's first half attacking pattern in terms of their passing and just basically see what Buildcon were trying to do. You see there? Once they get to the area just near the D, they would seldom get forward into the final third and put in a cross. 3 in the first half. But basically, look at all their passing. It's like there was a brick wall that Zesco put up there, and only 3 times they managed to break it. So how do you deal with that one? Is it the positioning of the number 9? Is it is it the movement of the
It's
attack?
a style of play, because now when you have the ball, you're just waiting to pass the ball. There is no movement without a ball, and there is no strategy in the final third. We're gonna move. There is some strategy. The player, they move off the ball when in the final third. Okay, to receive the ball in the space and to break the defense line for the opposition. So they're not moving, just passing. Then end of the day, what's gonna happen? I can make the cross, but end of the day, I've already marked the cross. It won't go through. Corner, it's fine. This is how to score, set piece. But final attack, we are passing 1-2, 1-2 like Zesco. They pass, counter, they find the way, Jeseweri, and finish. The first goal. Take the ball wide, stretch the back 4. He used the space between the 2 center back, cross, header. That's what we call finish scoring from the attack. His attack, he's already started and he already finished. No set piece, no penalty.
Yeah, they've got a way of getting to the final third and sorting that one out. Let's talk about Jesse Were, Lazarus Kambola, and how they managed to play in the second half. Let's get to the second half attacking pattern for Zesco United. So second half play out, it changed a bit because, as we earlier alluded to, Tenant Chembo in the 39th minute made a substitution that saw Enoch Sabumkama brought on the bench. But here's what happened to the attacking pattern of Zesco United. So once they get the ball again, because Buildcon are actually doing a medium press. So Dautum Sekwa, the shirt number 21, has got the ball, but already he's got 2 options inside. Of course, he can get Lamek straight up and play a pass in the channel, but you've got Chaila there as an option. he's got Kalonda, and as a result, everyone, they're forming lines of pass, and it's working very well. But look at the positioning of Lazarus Kambole. He actually comes short to actually now receive the ball. But most importantly, and this was what I would have loved to see, even with Sabu Mukama on the pitch. Look at the position that the shot number 18, Kondwani Mtonga, now takes up when Zesco are actually building up. He actually comes deeper because he's running away from the congestion. But again, if you look at that line for Buildcon, again, straight line. And because Zesco are now forming lines of pass, all of a sudden, you can see Kalengo there. You can see the shape number 7, Kambole. You can see Lamek there. And up top, you can see Adam Zikir. And when Jesse Were comes on, the same pattern continues. And it worked very well for Zesco United, Vespa.
Yes, Zita, it did work very well for Zesco, especially when they started passing, exchanging passes to one another, which at least gave them an advantage. And I think if you look at the way they were moving, just from the transition itself from the midfield, the way they were trying to pass through Buildcon defense, I think everyone was trying to put in his best for the team. And looking at the way they started, they were down by a goal, and coming from that, at least I think it gave them a good advantage of the way they were attacking from the wing, trying to get into the midfield.
All right, let's look at now Zesco United's attacking pattern in the second half and see what they were able to do. Because if you are Sabu Mukama, you'd wish you were playing in this football match. So second half passing pattern has changed fundamentally for Zesco United, and let's just see what they were able to string up in the second half in terms of the attack construction. Remember that that in the second half, now look at the spaces now they now create because of the positions they actually take in terms of their attacking organization. Kalengo in space, Lamek Banda in space, and all of a sudden, especially in midfield, those areas where they were struggling to get play and get time and space on the ball, they were all of a sudden getting it.
Yeah, I think, like what I told you, Buildcon wasn't organized in the defense. This is why, if you look at first goal, this immediately stretch the back four for Buildcon. You can score goals.
Yeah. Then just hold on to your thought. Let's look at now the passing lines and what they were able to do in the second half. That's Zesco United. Now look, all of a sudden, look at that area between the D and the center circle. Zesco are now penetrating that area where Sabu Mukama was playing in the first half. Yeah. So you should probably take heart. But for Buildcon, you do a medium press and you fail to stop the opponent from getting into midfield and into the final third. That should be a crisis.
When they retreat very fast, and I think even them, when Jesse Were he have the ball, you can see all of them, they are looking at Kalingo, but Kalingo is very sharp. He pulled himself wide when he take his marker wide. It create one-on-one for Jesse Were. This is why he managed. So the defensive midfield wasn't there. Why? That is
he got sent off. Chava got sent off, and Buildcon had to finish the game with a man like.
No, but this is after Jesse.
Yeah, this is after Jesse Were.
Yeah, no, when Jesse scored the goal, where is he?
Yeah.
The defensive midfield, the one is supposed to be in front of the two center back.
But perhaps Buildcon's biggest problem is that they were there in the correct positions and Zesco just tweaked it a bit. But now they need to start winning their duels defensively, Vespa. You can't get dribbled as a group or whatever.
Yeah, I think even the tactical discipline also comes to the defenders and the goalkeeper himself, Zita. I think he should also try to organize his defense, because most of the times you could see that they were breaking there. I think Zesco could have even scored more than they scored. Okay,
let's have a look at Buildcon's passing pattern in the second half. And perhaps, Muhammad, we can basically compare and contrast between the two halves. Second half, Buildcon and their lines of passing in terms of what they were able to do in attack. So second half, that's what they were able to do. Again, the same problem comes back, and it comes back to the thought you say, save for some scandalous defending on the part of Zesco United where they caught ball watching, they would probably struggle to score goals. And even in the first half, if that is their second half pattern. But let's look at the first half, because what they were very good at was basically stretching Zesco into the wide areas. But after the stretch Zesco, they seemingly didn't have the next plan to actually use. Because if you look at first half, second half, same thing. The two wide players, Chisambalungu and Moses, stretch, go as wide as possible, try to create space.
You see, the coach, for me, the coach is very good. But I think he have to understand the player, the one they have at Buildcon, the advance, the player, the high level. So I think he must be open with them and give them freedom also in the tactic. Like this, they can expose themselves, they can show themselves, play with more freedom. I feel like the standing is good, but when the game start becoming, when you have opposition more organized, they freeze in the final set. They come from the defense to the midfield. After the midfield, the story
collapse.
Ended.
Now, you two have brought up a very important point. Free roll, it's a nice idea, but in terms of shape and whoever is playing that free roll, I personally feel if you're going to give a free roll to anybody in any football match, in modern day football, it has to be temporal. Because I'm thinking, Coach Fatih, think about this. If you say second striker, for example, for argument's sake, free roll, and when you lose the ball, especially when you lose the ball, he is not taking up certain positions. Teams with a deep lying playmaker will start playing and they will kill you. And good example is Zesco in the second half. They allowed Chaila and Mtonga to start playing. They killed them. 3-1.
I'm telling you, there is one player in the midfield, usually the attacking midfield, he has to have free roll, or one of the second striker, he has to have free roll. So it means whatever he moves, he has to have a cover. And also changing position. You know what does mean changing position? You have to understand we are changing position in the attack, because you can't say, okay, this is a half left, it's playing half left. No. If you continue like this, you will never score. You have to change. Like this, you create a space. This is a combination of the attack to break the opposition. You can't say, no, I'm not going to give freedom for changing position. Or one player, he have a free roll. Like this, you can move. This is a tactic. This is high level.
Yeah.
You are talking about youth. No, when we teach the youth, we tell them, no, stick with your position in the zone. But when you go up to Premier League or Continental or national team, when you are attacking, you have to change position. And one player, he has to have a free roll like this. You confuse the opposition and you start breaking, creating a space. You drop the ball in this space, then the runner come and you finish. You reach to you score goals.
Free roll. Free roll. And Vespa, you know that this one is a controversial subject, and the players will be looking at themselves on the pitch. That one is not marking. But they are blaming me, I'm supposed to cover my position and cover the person's position for the free roll. What are your views on that one?
Yeah, I think the players who are given a free roll, Zite, they always enjoy the game. And if you see most of the times, they're the ones who are even try to encourage their friends, even the way he comes with the passing game, and even the way he will try to break through, come back and collect the balls. I think it's an interesting role, Zite,
I
which
want to ask
I
you,
think.
Ronaldo, what's the position for Cristiano Ronaldo?
Yeah, even Messi, you
No,
can see.
someone needs to cover for him.
No, listen. What is the position for
Someone
Cristiano
needs to
Ronaldo?
cover
What
for
is the
him.
Yeah,
position
but
for Mohamed
you
Salah?
need to
Give me the
communicate.
position
They
for
are all
Mohamed Salah and
communication.
Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi.
No, but you got to have
You see
American, Cruz, and
No,
Casemiro
you see,
covering.
that is the same. It's the same football. We are not making another football. It's the same football, and this is the high level, and we have to learn from the top. You understand me?
Okay,
So we
I
have to
understand
copy.
you. I
We
understand
have
you.
to take ourselves one
But,
step.
but this is what I want to say to the nation. Free roll, great. But it's club risky business. That was our analysis of Buildcon versus Zesco United.